like to start with the first question on a very general subject. And we'd just like to ask you, what does sustainability mean to you? And some of you have already answered, but we'll begin now with Ms. Cater.
Sure. Sustainability to me means a healthy earth, I think. And in order to have a healthy earth, we have to put policies in place that create that space. And I think when you have a healthy earth, you have the ability to have healthy people living in that place. And I think we're focused so much today on the health of our citizens, of residents, of people who live in Tempe and across the country. But you can't really have healthy people if you don't have a healthy earth. And so I think sometimes in our country, and certainly in Tempe, we focus on how do we have a healthy Tempe. And I'm so proud to live in a city where that has really, with Councilmember Cubey, really been championing sustainability. Because I'm now raising a young child here, and you think about, when I think about a healthy earth, it's not about me, it's not, maybe not even about my daughter. It's probably about her kids and her grandkids. And I echo the statements. Obviously, being a champion for families living in poverty, we know that sustainable practices not only, well, the lack of sustainable practices disproportionately affect communities living in poverty, but that sustainable practices are more cost-effective too. And so when we implement these cost-effective practices that give us a healthy earth, we actually save money in the end, costs go down, and that means people can thrive in the world. So yeah, that's what sustainability means to me, and I think that really this is such a profound issue for our time, and we have to think about it, and I'm so happy and proud that Tempe is a champion in that.
Thank you so much. Ms. Kuby.
So actually, I have a personal definition of sustainability that I'll share with you tonight, and it's actually eating food that my grandparents would recognize. To me, fundamentally, when we make decisions about what we eat, we're making decisions about the larger health of our region and our country and our planet. But the sustainability is about the 3 E's: environment, economy, and the biggest part, I think, is equity. And that's why the School of Sustainability, where I work, we focus a lot on equity and justice issues. And when you think about our free pre-K program started by David Shapira and just embraced by the community, that is a sustainability program. It's about equity. When you think about our equal pay program, and because women who have the same job as a man should be paid the same as a man, that is fundamentally an equity issue. That's a sustainability issue. So my definition is broad as a policymaker and as a citizen. And when I look to get a commission going and look to hire the best sustainability manager in the state of Arizona, Dr. Braden Kay, I thought, we can't look at this siloed in public works. It can't be just about waste, water, energy, brown paper towels. It has to be broader than that. It has to be a discussion that is centered in the manager's office, city manager's office, not siloed in a department, because fundamentally this has to be a discussion with all of the departments. It has to be a discussion with human services and fire. So Dr. Braden Kay got so involved with our firehouse study, and that building is a model of sustainable development once it's built, and really a gem. Our first building in 10 years, we'll be so proud of that building. So to me, it's very much, it's something I think about all the time, every single day in my work, doing community engagement with the Global Institute of Sustainability, and it's why cities are so exciting to be in and to be conducting public policy in, because cities are leading the way in sustainability, and so is Tempe.
Thank you. Mr. Stewart.
And basically, I'll be honest where I came from. Both my parents were hippies, to say. So I'm just going to throw that out there right off the bat. So from a very early age, I had a very clear definition of, or a very clear general idea of what it meant to be a steward for the earth and what it took to be mindful of the earth. And obviously, we had environmentalism, we had the eco-friendly movement, and sustainability has grown out of that, which is great because we've seen from the birth of sustainability and the term sustainability, it's reached out to so many different factions that we've already talked about here a few times, including how it affects poverty rates, how it affects neighborhoods, how it affects children, and just how and it's just basically one of those things where it affects so many different things at this point that it's great to see it affects so many different things at this point, and coming out of such a small concentrated thing of a few books come out in the late 60s, and also now we're talking about how it looks in like corporate offices, how it looks in city offices, all from just like a birth of a few environmentalists. And so I think it's really important to like look at the other factions that have come out of environmentalism and burst into sustainability and all the different areas to look at. And to me, I think that's the most important, is to really look at the economy of things and the fairness of things and making sure everyone's on the same level playing field, and making sure and helping others get to that playing field if they're not on it already.
Thank you. Ms. Vega.
Thank you. Yes, so I did mention it a little bit in my opening statement, but sustainability is far more than the environment. So from a business perspective, I'll take a business perspective here. I have an executive MBA from ASU, and this is something we talked about in every class we had, which was sustainability is about good sustainable hiring practices, making sure that we're investing in education, in the social aspects of sustainability for the long-term success of not just a business, but the community that business is in. I also think that sustainability is often limited in conversation, unfortunately, I think, to an environmental conversation, just about the things that we see outdoors. It's limited to things like planting trees, and it's so much more than that. Sustainable workforces that are good trades, that protect our infrastructure and keep our infrastructure going. It's sustainable education practices that adapt with our times. It's equitable, not equality, but equity that we need to have a conversation about when it comes to sustainability to protect those underserved communities. And this is something I will be extremely excited to talk about on the council, assuming I get elected. But this is a conversation I champion even in my own day-to-day. I have my own business, and we talk about sustainability from a corporate social responsibility perspective. And this is something we need to make sure that businesses in Tempe don't just do CSR reports to post on their website and to get good press about, that it becomes a part of the culture and something we foster across the city. And so I think this is something, again, a conversation we need to have, not just about environmental policy, but again, social and economic policy as well.
Thank you. Ms. Adams.
Thank you. Sustainability, by definition, is the avoidance of depletion of natural resources. And in order to maintain an economic or ecology balance, sorry about that. And so we need to also acknowledge this property of the biological systems to remain diverse and productive in our society. And it is a balancing act. It's very difficult. It meets the needs of the present without jeopardizing the future populations. And it also is about the triple bottom line: our people, profit, and planet. So we have to balance all of that out, and that's not always easy. So you have to look at all the factors. ASU experts have estimated that we have 200 years left on this planet if we don't do something about how we're using our natural resources or abusing our natural resources. So we need to do everything we can to reverse this direction. As Deputy Public Works Director and Facilities Manager, I did everything I could to promote sustainable practices, including LED lights, the paper towels, starting the internal recycling program at the city. We always try to balance that people, planet, and profit, and this can be done. And sustainability is widespread. A lot of things, it is about equity, and it can be done. And we just need to work together and communicate with one another and make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark.
Great. So the second question